start?
Yep.
So today we're going to be learning about castles in the medieval time frame. So when you think of a castle, I hope your childhood memories start coming up of building sandcastle or something. Because I'm going to have you first off start by drawing what you think a castle looks like. So you got like a minute and a half, 2 minutes while I get something ready on the board. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's kind of like a pretty little picture of what you think a castle is. Alright, we got like 15 more seconds to get the best castle ever. Alright, are you ready?
I feel like it could have been better.
Okay, so just hold on to your picture of what you think castle is, because when I did this, I was completely wrong of where I was going with the castle. So, first we're going to talk about it. The Middle Ages was between 1100 AD to 1400 AD. The specific castle that we're going to be doing is an example of 1100 AD castle. So during the Middle Ages is violent times and wars were going on everywhere. And so everyone, all the men, sorry guys, were on like a power trip and like have to have the biggest, best castle. And plus the whole point of a castle was for protection. Because if you just have like a little tent popped up, an army can come in and just wipe you clear. So the whole purpose of the castle was mainly for protection. And the people that lived in the castle was typically called a lord that owned the castle, the main power-hungry man. And he would have either actually blood relatives, he would have soldiers, his servants, and they would have different sections of the castles that they're supposed to reside in and stay. But the whole point of this is for protection. So, I'm going to give you another piece of paper so you can compare and contrast. And as I'm drawing this castle, you guys are going to be drawing the outline of the castle that I'm drawing on the board. So, first you got to start off, like all great castles do, you need a moat. So the outside of this is the moat. And typically moats are full of water, sometimes have alligators or other little creepy crawlers in there. It's just an extra layer of protection that would fend off against people coming in. And this is called the moat. And then this outer wall is called, ironically enough, the outer curtain. So the outer curtains were just thick concrete walls. And that was, they said it was, well, not concrete, but built of stone back in that time. So at the corners of the walls, you had these towers. The tower was mainly where soldiers would stay overnight, just have protection, have a good, if the tower was extended above the outer wall of the curtain to have better view to see if someone was coming. So the moat would slow them down if they're coming, but the tower would allow the lookouts to see even further out. So you have these nifty little towers all around, and sometimes you'd have them in the other areas too. So over here is the outer gate. And you have two gates, just in case you're under attack and someone cuts off one gate, then you have a escape route to another gate. So this is called the postern gate. And so, like I said, one gets cut off, you go to the other one. So, you got water, wall, and then here is where the actual inside of the castle was. So this is called the inner curtain. So you have 2 layers of stone walls as protection. And then this whole part out here was kind of the, I guess it could typically be grass or dirt, just another outside area. It's called the outer ward. No one was ever in the outside parts, but it's just a good little area for protection. So around the inside of here, you have a nifty little secret passage, if you will, and this is where the keep or the help stayed. So they were only allowed in these outside walls, which kind of stinks. I need to go look at the parts. So the keep stays on the outside of the inside. That makes sense. So, and then right here is the main gatehouse, or the inner gatehouse. So for the inside one, you only have one area. So if they come in and you get stuck right there, most likely if they're in that far, they're already gone. But typically, the outside walls were so thick and strong that no one really got to the inside. But it did happen. So this part right here is called the inner ward. This is the main part where the Lord stayed. So I guess you could say this was the nicer, higher end area. So the Lord stayed here of the castle, and he also had his blood relatives, or whatever the mistress was of the week, would stay in there with him. And whenever, of course, when you're a lord and you're living in a castle, you might get kind of bored. So you want visitors. And the visitors stayed on this half over here, which is the apartments. So they stayed in the apartments. The visitors would typically be other noble lords coming through, or other distant relatives that needed a place to crash. So this area is called the Great Hall. The Great Hall is where most of the parties took place, or dinners would happen, or just a social gathering section, if you will. Because the Lord didn't want anyone in his area. That's his nice, fancy little house or area. So they would go to the Great Hall and have the parties. Over here in this little corner next to the Great House is the kitchen, or the Great Hall. Kitchen, that's where usually the keep would run over here and cook, and then bring it straight to the Great Hall. So it's an easier distance going to and from. And then this over here is called the soldiers' quarters. And this is where the other soldiers living in there that the king needed for protection would stay in there, and then also any other common folk that are around the area that need protection stay. So this is your typical castle. Did anyone have anything close to this on their picture?
No.
That's okay, neither did I. I was thinking, oh, pretty little fluffy castle with little flags on the tower. But the whole point of the castle was for protection, not really for nice cleanliness and, I don't know. They said, in the article it said that it was mainly like very drafty, the walls were cold, it was not the fun, upbeat place where you want to live. Besides the Great Hall, they said they did have fun and have a good time in there. So, do you think you guys could be able to list the stuff on the castle?